And when you ask me if Psych 2, Lassie Comes Home is a good movie, it is a great movie, period. What's good, guys? It's your girl Faith, and welcome back to Faith Facts. Today I'm wearing this beautiful light up Yankees hat that I got from my brother because my hair is not yet done. You see, it's all curly, frizzy, and all that. So I'm just wearing this for you guys, for your protection, I guess. Anyway, today we are doing the long awaited movie review of the movie Psych 2, Lassie Comes Home. So I know I've been talking a long time about doing this, but now it's finally coming into fruition. So let's get into this. So I haven't watched the movie yet, but I'm going to watch it in about a few minutes. So I'll give my first impressions off of the trailer. So the trailer seems beautiful as always. There's Gus and there's, you know, their buddy dynamics and all. And finally, because the last movie, Psych 1, did not have Lassie in it, Lassie is in this one. I mean, it's called Lassie Comes Home. So I'm so happy to see Lassiter, the detective Carlton Lassiter, in this movie. And I am super excited to see about, you know, how Sean and Juliet are handling marriage because they got married in the last movie, and how Gus and his girlfriend, whose name I kind of forgot now, are doing. This is going to be a great movie. I think it has an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes, 4 out of 5 or on IMDb. It seems like it's going to be a great movie.
Because the Peacock streaming service isn't available on my TV, I got it on my laptop. It came with a few ads right before the movie, but the movie was ad-free. So you know I had to watch some Season 5 Psych before getting into the movie, just to get a feel for the show. I also made a little plate of snacks I really shouldn't be eating now, chocolate milk, popcorn, and some apple turnover, along with my notepad.
So I'm checking the books right now, and Psych 2 was a great movie. I mean, it had comedy, it had the emotional moments, it had all the Sean and Juliet moments. I mean, it was really good. It even had the Gus and Shernay moments, so it was great. Let's break it down. I took notes while I watched it last night, fell asleep like 10 minutes afterward. So the intro scene was with Lassie when he was, I guess, 10, 11, maybe a teenager, I'm not sure. But he was with his father, and his father was telling him that he should be proud that he's a Lassiter. And then after that, because they're in the forest, Lassie turns around and he sees his father's not there anymore. So now it's just calling out in the forest and calling out and calling out. And then it switches back to present day, where now Lassie is in this old abandoned warehouse, and there's like this black silhouette there standing over him, and he's been shot like in the chest and in the shoulder a few times, and he keeps saying to the silhouette, I guess, don't do it, don't do it. And then the silhouette has 2 guns, and he shoots him again. And then it goes to the present day, where Lassie is at this really beautiful assisted living center where he is recovering from his gunshot wounds, and he has his arm is slit. He's a little considerably weaker, but still Lassiter. And if you've seen the show, you know what I mean. I like the visuals of the movie. Like, before we go on, I just gotta say the visuals, like the camera cutting, the editing, the angles that the cameras are at when people are talking. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a video editing theater buff. I don't know. But anyway, after that, it starts with Sean and Gus going there to kind of meddle into what Lassie's seeing, because Lassie is seeing ghosts. Even though they're not really ghosts, they are real people. But no one knows that. Everyone thinks it's just Lassiter hallucinating because he had been shot. But Sean and Gus don't think that. So they start to meddle in, and they send out their dog, their therapy dog, to find stuff in the woods, and the dog just runs away. He comes back with a human hand, so that's weird. Julie was there, and she went to see Lassiter, but she also knows Lassie has been seeing some weird stuff lately. So By the time the dog comes back, she has the hand, so she sends it to forensics. And they figure out that it is the hand of a billionaire, a guy like millionaire tech guy who reportedly jumped off of a cliff not far away a few days before. This takes place in Santa Barbara, and if you watch the first Psych movie, Sean, Gus, Juliet, Chief, you remember Chief from Psych, they all moved to San Francisco to, have jobs there. Well, now, Sean and Gus go back to their old Psych office in Santa Barbara, and guess what? It is a cafe. A cafe with cats, or for cats, I'm not sure. And Henry, Sean's father, is renting out the place to her. And he practically owns the place now. Serenay, Gus's girlfriend, goes to Julie telling her about how she's worried about Gus and how Gus isn't picking up her calls. And then Juliet accidentally mentions that there's a nice nurse at the rehab center that Lassie's staying at. So she obviously gets worried that he's cheating, and she says, we're going to Santa Barbara together. And then at night, Lassie sees this wounded man, this man with a lot of blood coming from his leg, shuffling into the stables at the rehab center. And he's like, whoa, what is that? That's not supposed to happen. So then Juliet is low-key kind of creating a case file for Lassie, for who shot Lassie, because Lassie believes that this person that was shuffling into the rehab center at night is the person that shot him. So she's kind of doing this undercover, in Santa Barbara, and she kind of doesn't want Chief to know because Chief is her boss still in San Francisco. But anyway, Sean and Gus get back to the rehab center, and they tell Lassie tells them about it. So they go downstairs to the horse stables to try and find this. So anyway, Sean and Gus go downstairs, with their usual antics, and then they find a freezer with ice cubes. Well, ice chips, I think they call it. Flavored ice chips. It's what they give to patients when they can't keep food down. So they start eating them and eating them and eating them, and then they see the doctor there. Dr. Hasselback, I think his name is. Haschel, something around there. So then, all of a sudden, they start confessing why they're really down there to him all of a sudden. And Sean and Gus are really good liars, so that's not what they do at all. Anyway, the next part is that they get a lead from Juliet to like an ice castle, an ice cafe, or an ice bar or something, not too far from the rehab center. And there, they meet this guy named Ova, who is, what they don't know, is an ex-Norwegian con man and like killer and all. But after he had a stroke, he moved to the States and started a legitimate bar business. And he has a son whose name I really can't remember, who wants to continue his father's legacy from Norway. Hey, Gus gets into like a little argument with the guy, so they start running from him. They start running. I mean, they get on a motorcycle, and Sean tries to drive it, but then he drives it right into a shed, and they go right through the shed, and then they land on the floor, and then they find some guy with a gun, and this guy, twist, is supposed to be the rich millionaire that died a week ago from jumping off of one of the cliffs. So he says, no, don't tell them. They know too many secrets. Don't tell them. They don't have time. And then he gets shot out of nowhere. No one knows who shot him. So now it's a crime scene. And then Sean, Juliet, and Gus and Serenay see each other. And Juliet and Sean are like, what are you doing here? You shouldn't be doing this, blah, 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 blah. But they're like, well, we're here anyway. So let's go on with this case. And while Sean and Gus are trying to shimmy through Juliet's car so that they don't see her, he sees a positive pregnancy test. So Juliet is pregnant, is what he thinks. And then Juliet finds some new evidence, and Sean and Gus find some new evidence. And once they put it together, they think they know who shot Lassie. So they go back to the ice cabin bar thing with the dog that Sean and Gus had in the first scene of the movie. And they find that Juliet and Chief, you remember Chief, right, are already there. So they're looking around, they're looking for evidence, but then when they open the freezer, they look, and Ova is dead. Ova is dead in there. Ova's like knocked out, cold out, dead. So then they run out to try to run out, but then Ova's son is there and he has 2 guns. He is the guy that shot Lassie. Okay? So now they know who the killer is. So they gotta, shimmy their way out of there because he has 2 guns. And yeah, Chief and Juliet have guns, but he has 2 guns and it's bigger, I guess. So somehow Sean and Gus try to stall, and Sean tries to bring up the point that Juliet is pregnant, and she's like, no, I'm not pregnant. And then Serenade walks in, and then she's being held at gunpoint, and then she says, well, can I talk to my friends for a little bit? And then she says, oh, yeah. So then she goes there, and guess what? Serenade's pregnant, and it's Gus's, yay! And after that, because she created what you call a distraction, she gets to whack the guy's son in the face, and Chief and Juliet get his gun. And the day saved, yay. But back at Lassie at the rehab center, guess what? Thunder. Guess what he figures out? He finds out that the nurse, the very nice nurse that I kind of forgot to mention, which is my fault, that very nice nurse is actually not nice at all. She was the one that was involved in the money laundering scheme that got the rich guy to jump off a cliff because there was so much, secrets going on. He was about to get outed for it. And she's the guy that sent the Ova's son to kill Lassiter because he was getting too close to it. And she is the one that, you remember the ice chips that Sean and Gus were eating, right? She drugged the ice chips so that whenever someone eats them, they hallucinate and they start to tell people a whole bunch of stuff that shouldn't be told. So she's the one behind it so she can get more money, more power, and all that. So she threatens to shoot Lassie. She doesn't. Instead, she puts a lethal injection in his IV, and he's kind of there struggling between life and death, and then he sees his dad, a vision of his dad there, and he's like, oh, I'm so tired, and he's like, no, son, you can't. You have to be a better father and mother I'm not a father and mother, a better father and husband for your daughter and your wife than I was, because he died when Lassie was young. So guess what Lassie does? He wakes up. He wakes up from the poison, and guess what? Just in Lassie character, he has a gun in his chair, and I presume that he shoots her because we don't see her again after this. So then back at the bar, the police are there, and Serenade is talking to Gus, and she proposes to him. Oh! And now they're gonna get married, so that is great. Sean and Juliet are happy that they're not having a baby, but just in case, Sean will be proud to be a father, and everything is a-okay. That was the movie. I thought the movie was very good. I thought the ending was a little bit choppy because, it goes from, oh, Lassie's about to shoot the evil nurse, and to, oh, okay, everything's good now, hooray, hooray, hooray. So I think they cut out a big part of the ending there, but I think it would have made the movie a little too long. I love Sean and Gus's antics, and like I said before, it's like the show, but on another level. And I think the production of this movie was way better compared to the production of Psych the movie 1. If I were to rate Psych 2, Lassie Comes Home, I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. I just didn't feel right with the ending, but everything else was absolutely immaculate, perfect. Everything was great. So, if you guys get Peacock, which happens to be free for now, and you want to see a fun comedy with a little bit of action in it, I'd suggest Psych 2, Lassie Comes Home. Anyway, guys, like I said before earlier in the video, don't forget to like this video if you liked it. I know I can kind of rant a little bit when it comes to Psych, but hang in there. And yeah, I know you guys are in for a treat. Don't forget to comment what you think of the movie below. Did you think it was trash or fire? Comment below. And don't forget to subscribe. We have a lot of great content here. We got movie reviews, we got food reviews, we got travel, we got everything lifestyle. So, subscribe for more content. And I will see you guys on Sunday with a video about Bite. Oh, my background moved a little bit. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye. Yay! Your worst inhibitions and will psych you out in the end.